Wageningen University is a university which has about 3,000 staff members. It's the #1 university in the field of agriculture and life science in the world. That's about 10,000 students, and its core focus is doing education programs on bachelor, master and PhD level, and research in the field of food, agriculture, environment and natural resources. So it's a very focused university, and its main role is to work very closely together with the business and with policymakers in doing research on food and agriculture, and with that to increase the quality and with that also the competitiveness of that sector. So we do all kind of research and education programs on food safety, on the sustainability of food and agriculture, on the quality of food, on the logistics, etc. We do that in the Netherlands, but increasingly also on a global level. So we do research on all kind of food chains, supply chains of all kind of products, meat, fish, arable products like maize, vegetables, which are either produced here and then exported across the world, or produced somewhere else and imported to the European Union. Well, I think the difference is you have to go back a little bit into history. So we are a very small country. We have a lot of people in a limited surface area. So that means that if we want to grow food and if we want to feed our own population, we always have to be very inventive. Create efficient food production system, make sure that the resources we have, which are scarce, are used very efficiently and reused again. So that always made that our agriculture and food system has always been very knowledge intensive. So there's a lot of science and research going into the agricultural system, and by that we have a very efficient and a very advanced agricultural system on all kinds of fields, whether it's on high productivity, for instance per labor, but also per unit of environment. We're making a lot of use of IT systems, robotica now in agricultural systems. We are also quite upfront in all kinds of new demands of consumers, because our consumers in the Netherlands ask sustainable products, safe products, products where animal welfare is very important. So, and that's very much incorporated in our agricultural and food system. If you have other countries, for instance like France, which has also agriculture is very important, they have much more space. So they have a less pressure from the past to be very intensive in their agriculture. So that gives us a little bit of a comparative advantage in that sense.
according to our projects and according to our monitoring systems, we see often numbers between 30 and 40%. So on average, we think that 35% is lost. In developing countries, it's especially on the first points of the supply chain, and in more developed countries, the consumer throws away most of the products.
Yeah. Okay, so could you tell me the way you do to reduce this loss?
We try to improve the storability, the transportability and the shelf life of fresh products, and we are using refrigeration technology, packaging and other bioactive systems to gain that. Let's take this beef, minced beef. In such a package, we bring in a high oxygen concentration, and when you bring in such a high oxygen concentration, then you see the red color of the meat for more than 1 week. If the meat turns brown, consumers don't like that. They want to see a red beef color. So this is one example how it works. Let's take this potato package. In this package there are very small holes in it. The respiration of the potatoes makes that the carbon dioxide inside the package is going up and the oxygen is going down. Because of these altered gas conditions, there is less greening of the potatoes on the shelf, and also the sprouting is inhibited. So this makes that the potatoes can be sold in a much longer period, or going to the consumer, they can keep the potatoes much longer in their houses before they have to throw it away. These are two examples how to improve shelf life.
Two examples. 2 weeks?
Two samples, this one and this one.
Okay, thank you.
Is this enough for you?
Enough, yeah.
This is grown on the land, but modern consumers do not know how to make this lettuce and how to treat it in the kitchen. In the Netherlands and Europe, we give the consumers fresh cut lettuce like this, and if you put the already processed lettuce in plastic bags to keep it very hygienic, then sometimes the color of the lettuce turns into red. Consumers think that's not okay, they don't like it, they leave it on the shelf. So it must always be like this and not like this. So you need to know how you optimize your packaging technology in order to achieve this and to avoid this. Yes?
Well, first of all, thank you for joining us here in The Hague today. the livestock sector in the Netherlands is a very important sector. The Netherlands is the second largest exporter of animal products or agricultural products around the world after the United States. So quality is a very important issue, and safety. Safe food is the basis of trust, and the trust is the basis of good trade relationships. And the CVO is responsible in the Netherlands, so the Chief Veterinary Officer is responsible for good trade relationships with countries outside of Europe, and is within the Netherlands and within the European Union responsible for keeping up the high performance of the sector as we have it in the Netherlands. And the Netherlands is one of the, I think, most intensified, populated areas in the world if we look at both animals and humans. So the role of the Chief Veterinary Officer is to make sure that we produce the highest quality of products in the safest way possible in the interaction between humans which live in the Netherlands and the producers, the farmers. Yes, the system in the Netherlands depends on the interaction between the private sector, the farmers, the slaughterhouses, and the traders, and the government. The government, which consists of, on one side, policy making, which is here in the Ministry of Economic Affairs, and in the NVWA, which is the competent authority. And besides that, we have the private veterinarians in the Netherlands. The private veterinarians visit each and every farmer each month. Sometimes in a more often, sometimes less often, but usually once a month. And during these visits, the vet and the farmer always look at the health status of the animals. If we look at the health status of the animals, the farmer is responsible for calling the government whenever there is something wrong, which indicates that there is a major problem in his farm. And what do we call major problems? Those are the major diseases which we know from the World Association of Animal Health. Farmers, vets and the government all together work on giving the most safe and high quality products to the slaughterhouses or the dairy industry to export to third countries. So it is a cooperation between, on one side, the government, on the other side, the private sector, and working together, being on the farm every day, 24 hours a day, make sure that we deliver the highest quality product. Yes, it's an excellent question, because what we need, as I told you before, the trade consists of trust. And what's the best way to gain trust is to deliver the best product against the best price. So if we look at the trade, we have many international contacts. The Netherlands trades with nearly every country in the world, especially when it comes to agro products, and they demand quality, and we can deliver quality. And we demand from our farmers within the Netherlands quality. Not only quality for trade outside the European Union, but also trade for inside the European Union. Every product which leaves the Netherlands, whether it is within the European Union or outside, has to do with the highest standards as we have them in the Netherlands. So that's one side. Trade longs from us that we have the highest quality. On the other side, we have our strict European and Dutch legislation, which asks from our companies to have to deliver the highest quality. If we look at the complete chain, the whole chain interacts for one goal, and the goal is to deliver the right product. So what we have in the Netherlands is a quality system which starts from farm to fork. So we start at the beginning with the genetics. There are strict regimes when it comes to what we learn from the producers of the genetics. Then we have the farms, which are in the quality system. This quality system, all the farms in the Netherlands are linked to the quality system, and they have very high and very strict rules to which they have to comply. From the farm they go to the slaughterhouse or the dairy industry, or the industry which is involved in the processing of the product. They also operate within the quality system. They often have their own quality system, and they all are, if we look at the genetics, the farms and the slaughterhouses and processing plants, they all are under the direct supervision of the competent authority of the Netherlands. So there is a very strong interaction between the different pieces of the chain, delivering one goal, which is high and quality food.
Okay, so thanks very much for joining our interview today again. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
When we look at the Dutch production chain, we have everything from farm to fork organized in quality systems. And when you look at quality systems, that starts with genetics and with the farm, which is operating within a quality system, as well as all the products that come to the farm to feed and bed the animals. This is all produced within a system which is called a good veterinary practice for the vets, or a good manufacturing practice, which comes for the feed. And the slaughterhouses where the animals go to, or the dairy plants where the milk is processed, are also within a quality system, and all these quality systems are supervised by the NVWA, which is the competent authority of the Netherlands, which makes sure that all the products that come from this food chain, whether it's dairy, it's baby instant formula, or it is meat, it all is of the highest standards and the highest quality.
Okay.
So if you change that, that's
Yeah,
good.
sure,
Good.
sure.
We are dealing here within the Ministry of Economic Affairs with several phytosanitary and food safety aspects. So the Netherlands, I would like to explain, is very keen to have a reliable and efficient phytosanitary and food safety system in the Netherlands. And it is not only important for the Netherlands, but of course also for all the countries which import our plant products, like the seed potatoes, seedlings, or vegetable seeds, or our flowers, or fruit and vegetables. And as you know, the Netherlands is exporting on a yearly basis over more than 80 billion euros of agricultural and horticultural products. So countries like you, Vietnam, should rely on our high quality of plant products like fruit and vegetables. I believe because we are a main trading partner, it is for a trading nation as the Netherlands, as I explained. We are a large trading nation. After the United States, we are the second largest exporter of agricultural and horticultural products in the world. So I believe we have quite a high quality, efficient system here in the Netherlands for phytosanitary and food safety aspects. So we have a high quality of experts in laboratories, but also for our inspections, who are inspecting the products before they go for export to Vietnam, for example.
Yeah.
I believe many products, plant products, are first of all grown in our greenhouses. In the Netherlands we have approximately over 10,000 hectares of greenhouses, so many vegetables and flowers are grown in greenhouses, and this is done under very good circumstances. First of all, I would also like to stress that in the Netherlands all the partners in the supply chain work all together, like the growers, the exporters, but also together with the government to guarantee that the product exported to your country is safe. So we have in the private sector certification systems which guarantee the quality step by step by the first use of, for example, propagation material till the end of the product, like if we export pears to Vietnam, this is all guaranteed during the whole chain.
You look at her.
Yeah. In the Netherlands we have a three-level structure of our phytosanitary system. First of all, we have on the top of this triangle structure, we have the Ministry of Economic Affairs. The Ministry of Economic Affairs is responsible for the phytosanitary policy, but also responsible at the end of the implementation of a good phytosanitary system, and also that the guarantees set by our inspection service are done on the right way. Then the second level, that is our National Plant Protection Organization, like you have in Vietnam. They are responsible for the correct implementation of the European phytosanitary policy. And they, together with 4 different and very specialized inspection agencies, are responsible for the real inspections, like inspections of soil for analysis, inspections in the field, and also inspections before export. So there is quite
quite an intensive communication between these three levels, between the Ministry of Economic Affairs and the National Plant Protection Organizations and the four inspection agencies. So I think important to stress is that the Netherlands is a real trading nation of agricultural and horticultural products. After the United States, the Netherlands is, with more than 80 billion euros on export, the second largest exporter of horticulture and agricultural products in the world. And that means that for the Netherlands it's very, very important that we have a reliable and efficient phytosanitary and food safety system in the Netherlands, where other countries who import the Dutch products can rely on, that they are sure, that they are confident that products from the Netherlands are of high quality and taken care of in the right way.
Yes, thank you.
And another aspect is that the Netherlands is a small country, much smaller than Vietnam. But that also means that we have everything right under control. I think that because we are a small country, the relations between the ministry, the National Plant Protection Organization, the laboratories and our inspection agency are quite efficient, and in a way there is always a very good communication. And that is especially possible because we are not a big country, and in that way we have things more under control in the Netherlands.
Yeah, thank you.
We deliver high quality products all over the world, be it in beverages, in all sorts of vegetables, fruits, in meat products. We deliver high quality products, and that is the most characteristics of Dutch agricultural produce. The way we create added value is because we are always innovating our production. We are always trying to incorporate the latest knowledge and know-how that have been scientifically proven in our production methods. The Dutch are always interested to make a better product for a lower price. Better in the sense that it has been produced with more quality, that it is taking less nutrients, less water, but the same good quality. That also allows us to produce at a cheaper price. But what you should take away from my answer is that we always emphasize quality. Quality first. This constant drive for innovation and trying to do things better, even better than it was today or yesterday, for the day of tomorrow. That's what we want. We want to see how latest insights from science, from our scientific community, can indeed be used in the way we produce our goods. And whether it is Heineken with its breweries or in the food production for animals, animal fodder, we try to make the best products for our clients. And we do that also in strong cooperation between universities and research centers, the government by making the right policies, and of course involving our companies. Because it's our companies that do the actual trade relations and do the investments, also in Vietnam.
Okay.
We have seen that trade and investment relations have grown up tremendously. And we've seen that indeed over the years, over the last 10 years, we have seen a steep increase in our exports and investments. And Vietnam has been very successful also in exporting to the Netherlands. And we have been also quite successful in exporting to Vietnam. And I'm very happy as a government official to see that this trade is increasing. And I think that there are even more market opportunities that we should go after. What we try to do is to create a good landing strip, so to say, a good gateway to Europe, because the Netherlands in itself is a small country. We have 17 million inhabitants, but we have a hinterland that is very big. And if you export via the Netherlands to Europe, you will find the best ways of transport, the facilities for warehousing, all the added value that can be done in the warehouses. And I think that indeed the know-how also about the European market is best available in the Netherlands. So the Netherlands is really your gateway also for agri-food industries to the European market. The Netherlands is always very keen on developing further trade and investment opportunities, and that is why we are so happy that the European Union and Vietnam are now rounding up and winding up a free trade agreement. And that free trade agreement will really help to foster and boost further trade between the Netherlands and Vietnam. It will allow your products to have an easier access to the European market, and it will also allow our traders and investors to bring more good products, good food, good beverages, good products to Vietnam. And that's why this is so important that we sign up this agreement, because it will strengthen our economic ties.
We believe that first of all the Dutch produce is known as a healthy fruit and safe fruit. So for us the main focus on getting new market is to insist on the fact that our fruit gives answer to the worry about food safety. And this is as a matter of fact, there is much more interest now for healthy fruit, but safe fruit. And that's what we stand for as Fruit Masters with our 450 growers, healthiness and food safety. Second, we have on the possibility to store for long term fruit we pick beginning of the season and store for the whole season. That makes us pretty special, as we don't have to supply a huge volume at once, but we prefer to supply every week a regular volume to have stability in the market and to make sure that our fruit is presented in the shops with top quality. So I think top quality is second one after the food safety. And the third one is, I guess, the fact that our fruit is different from the rest, different from the varieties that are already known in the market. And we can mention 3-4 of them. But the Conference pear is for us the main pear that we produce. It is around 80-85% of our crop. And that is a different product. And we know by experience, we're now just back from Hong Kong, where we have been making and arranging tastings. And we see that the Asian consumer loves the taste of the Conference pear, while they compare it then to some Pakam pears or already pears that are known in the market, and they place the Conference pear as number one. So we believe that then on the pear we have the Conference pear, which is a top item. In the future we will have as well new pears with special characteristic that makes that they fit even better to the Asian market, and with a clean skin, and that it fits probably better to the expectation of the consumer. And if we talk about the apples, we have as well new varieties developed that have an extremely long shelf life. So when you have the high temperatures in Asia, where it is not always easy to have the cooling in the shops, we have a variety that can stand easily for weeks without having to cool it down or to keep it on chill temperature. So I believe that then there we have, in terms of R&D, food safety, taste differentiation, new products from the Netherlands that are giving answer to the expectation of already a big part of the consumers. And with a specific focus on Vietnam, we believe that we can implement all those 4 pillars on the Vietnamese market, knowing that retailers want to have something to differentiate from their own competition, to make sure that they can get the profit that they need and to survive in the market on very competitive markets. So this is the pear that we were talking about. It's a Conference pear. This is really typical from the Netherlands. We want to have it because not all the companies are able to export. We have to be also frank about it. When you ship for 4 weeks on the way, it is pretty difficult to bring top quality on the market. And the Conference pear, first appearance is that the rosetting, people think, and people's mind says, this is maybe an ugly fruit. But still, when you slice it, you ask people to taste. First they taste, then they see the pear and they say, that's what I want. So we believe that we have to educate the consumer and to insist on the marketing by profiling with the windmill. And the windmill is our trademark for the Asian market, where we want to invest very much in the shops and on the market to explain to people that the windmill stands for Holland, food safety, top quality fruit, sustainability in supply, and differentiation, of course, of ourselves and our partners in the market.
We are an integrated company. That means that we buy baby calves when they're 2 weeks old. We house them in contracted farms, and we are the owner of the calf all through the stage. We produce the feed in our own facilities, and by means of that we have the whole chain in our hand, which means we have full control and full safety. Through all stages of the chain we are taking samples, doing tests, running tests, to ensure the best quality and the product be safe. Vietnamese market is a big market, high population, is good in food, I don't know if veal will fit immediately in the diets of Vietnamese kitchen as an ingredient, but I do know that it fits very well in Italian dishes, which also you find a lot in Vietnam, of course, Italian restaurants. It's a high-end product, which is very easy to prepare. It's highly nutritious. It's very lean, which means it fits in nowadays diet very well. To the Asian countries, we are exporting currently to Japan, to Hong Kong, to Singapore, to Thailand, and then we go further west to the Middle East countries that we also supply, because our product is halal. We are desperately looking to export to Vietnam. We are working on this also in cooperation with the Netherlands Embassy and the Agriculture Council in the Embassy. The benefits we think we will get is that we have a new market. We can educate also Vietnamese people, but also Vietnamese chefs to use Dutch veal in their menus, next to the Italian dishes that are already known, of course.
So what do you do to add the high value to your product?
Add high value. We are going further and further. This industry started very basic, selling bone-in materials, bone-in products, but in the end nobody eats a calf, a carcass. Everybody eats a steak or a piece of meat. So we are producing more and more consumer products, like sausage, like burger, like steak, like marinated steaks, and we export them nowadays mostly inside Europe, but we're also bringing them already to Singapore and Hong Kong, for instance. And I think also the Vietnamese market will be a very good market for these items, because if you talk about value adding, preparing portions, cutting portions is very easy to work with. So you use exactly what you need, there's no waste, you don't lose anything. And besides that, we are working on added value in terms of packaging. We want our product to have the maximum shelf life, so no meat is wasted. We are working in a very sustainable way. There's a price and a value. I think veal, for what it brings you, is not expensive. It's a very high quality product. If you talk about it with a chef of a 5-star hotel or a Michelin star restaurant, they love to work with Dutch veal. So it's not cheap, but cheap, protein is cheap. Veal has a value, is really a product that you can value also in your kitchen.
Em hỏi có gì nữa? So first of all, thanks for joining our interview today, VITV channel from Vietnam. So could you please to provide some information about the auction here, the processing here?
Of course I can. You are first of all the world's largest flower auction in the world. We are here in Aalsmeer, and Flora Holland is selling approximately 21 million flowers every day and 2 million products. We export all over the world, and Europe is our biggest continent where we provide flowers to, but we go also to Japan, Russia, America. Dutch flowers are very famous in the world.
So have you ever exported your flower to Vietnam?
No, not that far, because the journey is very often too long, and then the price of the flowers will be more, first of all, very expensive, and besides that, it's not the quality we will provide to consumers, but we are going for very straight and good quality product. So we start at the beginning that every product stays here only overnight. When it comes in last night, we sell it today, and it is out or leaving our borders actually before midnight.
Yeah. So can you give the detail about the processing of the auction?
Yes, of course. It all starts actually that the buyer registers. And the moment the buyer is registered, he gets from us a buyer's card, and the buyer's card has a number. At the moment he slides the buyer's card inside his computer, or what you see here in this auction, inside the auction bench. At that moment he's connected to 10 auction clocks here in Aalsmeer. The moment he will press one of the buttons. The button stopped right there. Most of the buyers will do that via their computers. They will start bidding on the auction. Normally when you go to an auction, the price goes up and they stop when you find it too high. We do it the other way around. The auctioneer starts the price high and it runs backwards. So the moment you press, you're sure you will have your product. When you wait, because you think, okay, I want to have it cheaper, you have more than 2,500 buyers in the house. The risk that you have to say no to your client because you missed the product is of course there. So they know exactly what is a fair price for the day.
So only in the Netherlands you have the auction, the flower auction.
There are more auction rooms in the world. I know in Germany, I know in France, but they never are as big as here. Well, what they first of all have to do is what they can see is that the bidding system, what we call in Dutch afmijnen, that is a very good system. Instead of waiting that everything goes up in price, they go down. We are very keen on quality, so that means we are very strict with growing of the products, that it is a fresh product, because the end consumer should be happy with it. You always have to keep in mind that flowers are a luxury product. If you don't have money, you don't buy flowers, you buy your bread or your rice or your noodles, but you don't buy flowers because that is something extra luxurious. So that's the reason as well why it is so important to bring in top products.
Okay, thanks very much for sharing everything.
Here are the growers still to come to be selling. The grower who is now selling is the grower of the sunflowers, is the Steenwijk. Here you see it's the name of the grower, Steenwijk Abbenes. It's the sunflowers, the Helion, the Ansonia. It comes out of Holland. It has a quality index, the A1 status, that's the best status, and the reliability index is a B status, so that's almost as high. The length of the flower is 85 centimeters, 15 centimeters is the size of the flower, 2-3 are ripening coats, and it's bundled only by one, so it's not a bundle of 5 or 10, so that's one thing for the grow. The clock circle is our full euro, built out of 100 cents. As I mentioned before, normally when you go to an auction the price goes up, but now the price goes down. And what you can see is that the auctioneer after each transaction goes the price up, and the moment the buyer buys it, you see the price of the product and how many buckets he bought. What is brought in, that is standing here, that's new transaction, one lot with 27 buckets, and the 27 buckets do have 50 flowers in a bucket. 3 this buyer bought, 3 again, so that means he buys 150 flowers, 3 times 50, for the price of 24 cents. So 150 times 24 cents will be withdrawn from his banking account. The 577 is the size of the bucket. And the minimum you have to buy is what the auctioneer tells you to do, is always here. The size of the bucket has to do that the client not only buys the flowers, he will buy the bucket as well, due to the fact that when he brings the buckets back to us, we will clean the buckets, because the juices of one variety can have a very negative influence of the lifetime of another. So that's the reason why we always provide our growers with clean buckets.